It's Tag Tuesday, and I've got a tag. It's a wonderful new tag. I was tagged by the creators. The creators are a couple that call themselves Name Your Pop Culture Poison, I believe, if I got that right. Name Your Pop Culture Poison, and I'm going to link them down below. If you haven't discovered them yet, they are delightful, and you really need to go check out their channel. This tag that they did is the cheesy book tag, and it is delightful. They came up with 18 different cheeses, and our job is, should you choose to accept it, is to come up with a book that pairs with the cheese. And they give you a little clue of what you're looking for. And I think you'll get the idea as I go along. So, without further ado, the cheesy book tag. We start with extra sharp cheddar, an old standby. Well, an old standby for me, and I've been using it on my Vlogmas recordings, is Alan Titchmarsh's Fill My Stocking. My wife and I read from this book every Christmas season. We know some of it by heart, but it doesn't matter. It's a delightful collection of Christmas stories and poems and carols, and just he's amassed a wonderful collection, an eclectic collection. So that's one of our old standbys. Then we have Swiss cheese, enjoyable but loaded with holes. And for that, I came up with the DaVinci Code by Dan Brown. I enjoyed solving the puzzle in that book. It was a lot of fun trying to beat the characters to the next answer. But the plot itself really didn't hold water, and was a little difficult to swallow. But the puzzle in it is a lot of fun. Roquefort. Everyone loves, but not for you. Everyone loves, but not for you. I came up with a book that I know a lot of people love, that when I read it, left me cold. And that is Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. I just found it to be lacking in integrity and difficult to swallow on some of it. Then we got Gouda, underrated, underappreciated. And a book that I think is underrated and underappreciated is Revival by Stephen King. Wonderful book. It's one of my favorite Stephen King books. And I've heard people say it's not one of his best. I've heard people say it was kind of boring. I don't get it, because I raced through that book. I couldn't wait to find out what happened next. And I think more people should give this book a try, and maybe even a second try. Because maybe they just weren't in the right mood when they read it. Because it's a good story. A really good story. And then we have Cotswold. You Wish Everyone Knew About It. And for that, I chose a book that I've talked about before called My Old True Love by Sheila K. Adams. Wonderful little book. Written by a local writer here in the mountains of North Carolina. Oops, I got somebody trying to come up. Here's Toffee. Toffee's come for a visit. Come on, you gotta say hi. Hey there! There's Toffee who needs a grooming because she can't see her eyes. And anyway, where were we? Cotswold, My Old True Love. Written by a local writer here in the mountains of North Carolina. Set in the mountains of North Carolina during the beginning of the Civil War. And it is a wonderful story, beautifully written, and it's one that I would just recommend to anybody to read. And then we've got American Cheese, enjoyable but junk. And I chose The Cat Who Killed Lillian Jackson Braun. Um, some of you may be familiar with the Cat Who series. The cat who saw red, the cat who read Shakespeare, the cat who did this, the cat who did that, the cat. And it goes on for so many Blinken books that, I mean, really, it's just too much. So somebody came up with this book called The Cat Who Killed Lillian Jackson Braun, who is the author of all the Cat Who books. And the book is hysterically funny. But it is a piece of junk. It really is. I laughed my head off. I was going to say something else, obviously. Reading the book, but it really is a piece of junk, but enjoyable. Mozzarella, complex but holds together. And for that, a book I just finished recently, The Manchurian Candidate by Robert Condon. Good book, multi-layered, lots of twists and turns, and yeah, complex. But when it gets to the end, everything ties up neatly, and it holds together well. Then we got Parmesan, gets better with age. And for that, I chose one of my favorite books that I've talked about often, Trinity by Leon Uris. A book about Ireland from the potato famine to the start of the Irish Revolution. It is such a good book. The characters are so vivid. The events are, some of them are heart-tugging, some of them are joyful, some of them, they just, it hits every chord. Trinity by Leon Uris. Then we have Brie, a book set in France. And for that, I came up with Anything Considered by Peter Mayle, which is a funny little book about a young man who needs a job and puts an ad in an international newspaper saying he needs a job and anything is considered. And before he knows it, he's caught up in the mafia and things are not going well. But you'll laugh your way all the way through it because it is a clever book. Then we have Wenslydale. I can't read my own handwriting. British, that's the word there. British book or author you like. And for that, I picked a book that was a gift from Ollie at Criminale. He sent a book to me called He Died with His Eyes Open by Derek Raymond. Excellent book. It was my introduction to British noir, and it was a good introduction because I loved it. I raced right through this book. And it's the start of a series, and I want to read the rest of the series after I'm done with my 100 book Read What You Own challenge. And it's on my list of ones to continue reading. Asagio, set in Italy or a summer read? I went with set in Italy. Another favorite of mine that I've mentioned several times, Under the Tuscan Sun by Frances Mays. Forget about the movie. The movie was a disaster. Read the book. The book is just so much better. Beautiful book. Set in Tuscany and Italy, and just she writes with just such a passion for the people and the culture and the place, and just read it. Wonderful book. And then we've got, again, I can't read my own handwriting, Halloumi, small but packs a punch. And for that, I chose The Gun Seller by Hugh Laurie. Thin little book, very fast read, but the ending sucker punches you. And it's just a great book. Again, you will laugh at a lot of it, but as it goes on, it slowly shifts from funny to deadly serious, and you get carried right along on the tide. Then we have Colby. Everyone loves, but you're indifferent. For that, I chose The Hobbit by Tolkien. I love The Lord of the Rings. Brilliant trilogy. The Hobbit, which is the prequel, not so much. But yet, so many people love it. They just think it is a wonderful, delightful book. And I think it is boring as dust. So that's my Colby. And then we've got Pepperjack, a book with a spicy kick. And for that, I chose Exit to Eden by Anne Rice. It's a bit of erotica about a man who books a vacation at an adult resort, only to find out that their specialty is S&M and his experiences with that. It was made into a movie, which I didn't bother to see because it was made with Rosie O'Donnell and Dan Aykroyd, which means they turned it into a comedy. And the book is not a comedy. The book has some funny moments, but it's a very serious book. And I really didn't want to ruin my memory of the book by watching a movie that was insecure enough to be changed to a comedy. Vegan cheese. Better off without. For that, I chose Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I have never seen The Attraction. I know some people like it, but if you ask me, my opinion, you're better off not reading it. It's a waste of time. Feta. Salty character. I thought, and the only salty character I could come up with was Moby Dick, because he lives in the ocean, which is salt water. Will that make him a salty character? I hope so. Ricotta has something for everyone. For that, I chose the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. It really is a tour de force. It's got romance, for those who like romance. It's got adventure, for those who like adventure. It's got time travel, for those who like time travel. It's got magic. It's got suspense. It's got humor. It really is a series that has something for everyone in it. And I highly recommend, if you've never read the Outlander series, give it a shot, because it is a wonderful read. I spent 1 year reading the Outlander series. I started in January, and the books are long books. These are chunkers, like 1,500 pages, some of them. And it did take me practically a whole year to read through the series, but it was worth it, and it was a year well spent. And then Paneer, an uncommon setting. And I didn't write down an answer for this one. Oh my goodness. A book with an uncommon setting. Oh, now I'm on the spot. A book with an uncommon setting. Think, Michael. Come up with a book with an uncommon setting. I'm at a loss. I mean, that's probably why I left it blank. An uncommon setting. Well, okay. The Pendragon Cycle by Stephen Lawhead. The first book in it, which is called Taliesin, starts off in Atlantis, before Atlantis sank. And in the course of the book, Atlantis sinks, but it starts off on Atlantis. And he creates the culture and the environment and the people, and it is uncommon. I never read another book that populated Atlantis. And that's it. That's all the 18. It is the cheesy book tag. And I am tagging 7 people. And here are the people I'm tagging. I will link them down below. Every one of these people has a wonderful channel. I can't recommend them enough. Check them out. Just one by one, go through them because I guarantee you will like all of them. They are worth the time. And we're starting with Read by Fred. After Read by Fred, I'm tagging The Grape Jelly Library, curated by Flo, or Flossie, as some call her. And then we got Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads. Fascinating man when he talks about books. He loves what he reads, and he tells you all about it. A delightful channel that I discovered. Back Away from the Donkey. It really is just a delight. And just check it out. Check it out. And then I've got Book Time with Elvis, which is another delightful channel. Then I've got Big Hard Books and Classics, who has a fascinating channel. And Alex Unabridged, who's a fairly new one that I found. And I've already tagged him in another tag. And tagging again in this one. Just to bring attention to his channel because it's fairly new, but it is definitely worth your time. So that's it for the cheesy book tag. And again, all these people will be linked below. Check out their channels, the people who created the tag, those I'm tagging. And if I didn't tag you and you want to do it, consider yourself tagged because it's a fun little exploration. I enjoyed it. We'll talk to you again later. Bye.